Hello, welcome to the most unwanted YouTube channel, and this is going to be my A World Reborn playthrough. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for quite a few years, and I came in back when Heaven's Word started, and this is going to be a guide mostly for new players, but also just a recap of the story. It's also going to be really good for players like me who went through and skipped the cutscenes the first time around. So I decided to make a new character for this playthrough, and as you can see, I went for the tallest female there is in the game, the Femro. And there's a lot of different character customizations, as you'll see in the following intro as I make my character. I know there are a lot of other guides out there, but this seems like a lot of them stop once the Realm Reborn's over and don't really get into Heaven's Word and Stormblood, and just figured it would be something I could do for fun. Again, a lot of this is you can go and change this throughout your time by visiting the Aesthetician. I believe is how you pronounce it. Wait, aesthetics for in-game customization of your character. There's also Fantasias, which many people know all about. The Mog Station still seems to be one of their #1 selling items. To go in with a Fantasia, you can completely remake your character. You can even change races. I took quite a bit of time making this lady here, because I knew that she was going to be the star of most of the video, putting in all the cutscenes and running around Eorzea. My goal is to make each video around 15 to 20 minutes. Just little chapters of the tale, and then I'm going to hopefully put in summary episodes, more of like a from point A to point B, like what happened in the past week. So if you're not interested in watching the entire playthrough, I hope you'll stop by for that. I really started this more of an exercise for myself. I'm a solo player, even in my free company. I will help out whenever people ask, but I tend not to ask for help. And there's a lot of different ways to play this game as well, so you'll find out. When I first started playing this game, I was a crafter, and I struggled through just the regular trials and normal dungeons, because I was very not confident. I would just pick a DPS class and kind of hope for the best, and wasn't toward right before Stormblood, so almost a year and a half of playing the game, that one of my free company players helped me learn to tank and overcome my fear of basically being in charge, learning how to keep the enmity. And they've seemed like they've changed that a lot too since I've stopped tanking. I haven't tanked a dungeon in quite a long time. Enmity is nowhere near as it seems like it was back then. But my goal is I'm going to go over the lore and the story, and then definitely going to try to hit up on some of the other things along the way. Also into the UI, I'll do my best to cover what I do. I have a pretty set way that I like things now. There's lots and lots and lots of different customizations. You could spend a long time in here, or you could just hit random and just a completely randomized character. It's all up to your level of what role-playing you want to have in the world. So they've added the job skips in the story skips. You can just skip right to the current content. My hope is that, you know, from 5.4 to 6, that even the people who come later, maybe this will be something interesting to go look back at and feel like, oh, I don't really feel like playing through that old story. But maybe you want to know what happened. I know my first playthrough consisted of completely skipping all the cutscenes to catch up, and I had no idea what was going on, especially in some of the dungeons. Now that I've took more time, and thought it'd be fun to go back and try to really understand. I still don't know a lot of what happened in Heavensward, as I pretty much got caught up and skipped, and by the time we got through, I was well confused, but I was crafting away. And I'm sure I'll touch on the crafting aspect of the game. I'm not sure I'm going to level my character all the way up to endgame crafting. Who knows? We may. One of my favorite things about this game is that no matter what class you start on, no matter how you start playing the game, you can switch at any time. You decide to start as a Conjurer, and you could decide that by level 10 that you're not enjoying that, you could go and try a Lancer, go try to be an Archer, becoming a Bard. My favorite current class is still the Scholar. I also enjoy playing Astrology. Astro. That's the one I've been practicing on recently, trying to get better with dealing with cards. And a lot of those classes and stuff come later in the game. So, we're going to start out purely as a new player, and we're going to go through. I'm going to start this character as a Conjurer. Definitely am a healer at heart. I've always enjoyed and role-playing games. Another cool aspect of the game is that you can play on controller just as well as on MNK. It's probably one of the most interesting controller aspect of games for an MMO that I've ever played anyway. Their cross hotbar system allowing you to access a lot of skills, not just like using control. It's very interesting. So there we have it. We're gonna stick with that. You can even role play down to the moon that you were born under. You can see there's all the different. I decided to go with the just for fun. I picked the final moon and the final day. Thought it sounded like a nice fantasy world. Born on the last day of the last moon. And here's all the signs that you can be born under. The deities. And it's very, very in depth. And as far as I know, I don't think that I don't think there's any technical changes that comes from this that I know of anyway, from which sign you end up choosing, other than some small dialogue options. So here we go. We'll start out. We got the different jobs. You have the gladiator, which becomes the paladin. Pugilist becomes the monk. I kind of skip over the marauder there, but the marauder becomes a warrior, which is also a tank. The gladiator is also a tank. Pugilist is a monk, which is DPS. Lancer becomes dragoon, which is the DPS. Archer is another one. Becomes the bard, which is also a DPS. Then we have the conjurer, which becomes a white mage, the only healer you can start as. We have the thaumaturge, which is the Black Mage, and the Arcanist, which is a DPS class, but it also splits into Scholar. It's one of the most interesting jobs that I've seen, where it kind of plays two roles. The only thing is, at least before, you needed to have White Mage leveled to at least 15, I believe, and Scholar to, I can't remember what level it is at this point, but in order to unlock Scholar. So we'll get our White Mage leveled up, and then we'll go pick up Arcanist and level that so I can have my Scholar. Now here comes a fun little bit. You can completely randomize my names, and if you can see, some of these things are very silly. And if you've played the game before, or if you've been running around, you probably realize that there are a lot of silly names in this game. So I decided I wanted to go with a very meme. So I memed myself. Just thought it would be fun, especially running around dungeons as a newbie. Went with you don't pay my sub. So it's kind of silly. I just wanted to go with something fun for this character, nothing too not too serious roleplay. So yeah, so here's the introduction to the game. They added the queue system, which has been pretty decent at not clogging up instances, at least since I've noticed. Had some issues with that in the past. And I hope you enjoy this part of the introduction. And I hope you'll stay with me on my little journey.
Here. Here. Feel.
There you have it. There's our introduction to A Realm Reborn. And I hope that you have a good time. I know that I'm going to use this to try to just have fun and experience the game a new way. And I hope you enjoyed the most unwanted YouTube. Bye.